JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today is the 25th of November, 2022. So welcome everyone. Welcome to this Friday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets, a few of the charts, some of the charts that we looked at this week just to see how everything's getting along. But before we go there, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, as always, a quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos, and of course our jfdbrokers.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. Now, jumping into the charts, guys. The first one I want to pick up here is Nikkei 225, and we saw a nice little correction here back to the downside, and basically the positive thing here is that we've managed to stay and close the week above this hurdle, above this 28282 level, the one that I kept on talking about. So basically it previously acted as a good area of resistance. We broke above it, we moved higher, but then we kind of corrected a little bit lower. So look, nothing is lost here for the bulls yet. So if we continue to trade above this barrier, then there is some potential still for some upside. However, in terms of something positive for the bears, well, if we look at this on a broader picture here, and maybe, just maybe, we get ourselves here a nice rising wedge here pattern, and if that's the case, then well, according to all the TA rules, these tend to break to the downside. So long story short, if you're looking for some higher levels, then yes, as long as we continue to trade above the 28,282 territory, then yes, we'll go higher. If we are looking for some lower levels, then wait at least for a break of the lower side here of this potential rising wedge pattern. Shanghai Composite, very quickly on that one. This one's a little bit of a mess, I would say. Well, actually, sorry, not a mess, but it's more of a, like, not the most exciting instrument to trade right now. But hey, maybe eventually it will present itself with a nice opportunity. So as I said before, the upside here for me would come from this 3,145 level, and the downside I will start aiming for lower levels on a break below the 21-day EMA. ASX 200, just a quick update. So far, so good. We have been moving nicely to the upside here. So yeah, I think that the market is, well, not I think, but the market is closed for the week already. So we had a good run. We didn't really reach my 7,269 level, but that's okay. That's fine. Look, I mean, it's not always a perfect hit. However, I'm still having a bit of hope. Maybe we could see that little extra push here. But again, if it doesn't, then I would still say that this is a good result. We've done like something like 60-something% probably of a move here, because I was saying that if we push above the 7,177 territory, I'll aim higher. Nasdaq 100, guys. So of course, again, this one is it was closed yesterday. Today it will be open, but they will have a shorter day. So yeah, it will be an early close for them. So okay, I mean, I think they're closing at 13. Yeah, this is 13 o'clock their time. So okay, let's see how that's gonna play out, of course. But in general, in terms of data, we don't have anything much coming out. So all the data that important data that we had already on the economic calendar, it already came out. So during the early hours of the Asian morning, we had the Tokyo CPI, the CPI numbers, the core and the headline. Those came out higher. Then we had already the German GDP figures, which improved, by the way. So I'll jump into DAX in a bit to see if we got any reaction or not. But hey, long story short, at the moment, I mean, we'll keep an eye on the European indices actually, because I think that they might be the ones that will kind of guide the US today. But hey, let's see how that's going to play out. So for now, from the technical perspective, I'm just keeping an eye on this. As long as we stay above the 11,665 territory, I'm aiming higher, but I'll get more excited with the upside if we push above the 11,900 territory, somewhere around here where the 100-day EMA is. By the way, let me have a look at the cash index and see if there is anything interesting there. 11,880. We're not far. We're not far from this 100-day EMA, so let's see if we can push through it. Dow Jones Industrial Average. Now this one is quite interesting because look, I mean, I talked about this previously, and I said that hey, if we pop above the 33,987 or even that 34,000 mark, then yes, I'll go higher, and my next target will be this 34,281, which got reached, and that was on Wednesday. Now the question, can we go further north? Well, let's have a look at the cash index right now, 34,237. So basically slightly below this barrier. So if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly a break above this barrier is required here, and then yeah, we could go further north. So a nice good break above this barrier would confirm a forthcoming higher high. The German index, DAX, yeah, there we go. So yesterday we had a pop, we had a nice move to the upside. Look, I talked about this and I said that if we pop above this 14,440, I'll go higher. My next target is the 14,709 zone. I will stick to that game plan, and as long as we remain above this 14,440 territory, I will continue aiming to the upside. The cash index right now is sitting roughly, let me just double check, roughly around 14,560, so just slightly above yesterday's close. So everything's still looking quite positive. For the downside, I would need to see a drop back below the 14,440, and then I'll consider a bit of a retracement here to the downside, something like that, basically. UK index, the FTSE 100. So I talked about this one yesterday, and I said that, hey, look at this. I mean, we have ourselves quite an important area of resistance. This downside line taken from the high of the 31st of May. I said that I'll keep on monitoring it. Maybe it's going to be a tentative one. Maybe it's not going to carry any significance, but so far it's doing a good job. It's carrying significance. So if you're looking for some higher levels, then you need to see a break of this barrier. But if you draw Fibonacci's like I do here, and you're trying to look for some retracement, then I would say if this downside line continues to provide resistance, as long as the index remains below this downside line, there is still a good chance for the index to move back to the downside here, maybe even towards that 23.6. DXY dollar index, so not much activity, of course, understandable, but it's resting comfortably below this 200, on top of this 200-day EMA. If you're looking for some further declines, a nice good drop below the 200-day EMA is required. Simple as that. For the upside, I'll stick to, and this is where I think I will adjust my levels. I will stick to this area right now, or even better, the 108 zone. There we go. So a pop above the 108 zone may attract more buyers into the game here. Gold is struggling with this 200-day EMAs. So far it's providing good resistance near that 1759 level, of course, as well. But hey, if we pop, then we could go higher. Let me just redo this a little bit. Let me mark this highest point of November, the current highest point of November, near the 1786. Now this, of course, what's happening here really looks like a very nice idea of like higher lows and higher highs. So for example, we made a higher high, now we retraced, and then we've tested this area, it provided support, and then we could go basically, now we're reversing to the upside again. If it goes further north, I mean, if it clears, for example, the 1786, then we have ourselves a higher low, and this could end up, being very nice here for the upside. But let's not rush into anything. Let's first keep an eye on this, and the barrier, this 1759, together with the 200-day EMA, is something to watch here for now. So don't, like I said, don't rush into anything. But again, this is going to be an interesting barrier to watch. If we pop above this, then I'll go higher. Silver is stuck here, is stuck near the, or actually not near, but in between the 21.62 and the 21.28 levels. Look, I said before that in order for me to get comfortable with further acceleration to the upside, I need to see a push above this 21.62. The same analysis is valid. I'm sticking to it, so not much to talk about here. For the downside, actually, although I have this little hurdle here, but actually I would prefer to get a drop below the 200-day EMA together with a 21-day EMA, and then we could go for maybe a larger retracement here to the downside. U.S. oil, WTI oil, so still holding this barrier. This 76.28 is still providing good support. So if you're looking for some lower levels, guys, then wait for that clear break here, and then we could go from there. For the upside, I need to see a break of this downside line, because at the same time we could see a push above the 21-day EMA. Ethereum, just a quick update. Look, I said before that I'm going to keep an eye on this downside line, because it could could act as a nice area of support if we break through it and then come back. And look, I mean, so far it's doing that exactly. So as long as we stay above this downside line, I will aim for slightly higher levels, initially for that 21-day EMA and then this 1350 level. For the downside, I need to see a drop below the 1070 area right here, and then we could go from there. AUD/USD, guys. AUD/USD is quite an interesting one still. Look, I mean, I talked about this and I said that if we pop above the 0.6798, I will go higher. I'll aim for this 200-day initially, and then maybe for this 0.6916, and then we'll take it from there. At the moment, I'm watching this. I'm not doing anything. I'm just observing this, because again, what I don't want to see here is this, for example, moving a little bit higher, maybe giving us like a false breakout, and then drifting back down, and then drifting lower, and then kind of forming something of a range here. So that could happen easily. So we've seen that happening several times. So don't, like I said, don't rush into anything. If you're wondering, for example, do we have an upside line here? We kind of do, but I mean, look, you can keep an eye on this if you want. If you're looking for some lower levels, then if you want to approach it this way, then for example, you can wait for a break of this upside line, and then we could go a little bit lower. So something like that could be possible as well. It's also an option, but just don't forget to have your stop loss in place. AUD/JPY. I talked about this one yesterday and said we're coiling up, and we're now trying to figure out which way we're going to go. Look, yesterday we had a false breakout, and this is what you have to do all the time. Wait, because look, we get these teasers, and then eventually it kind of takes you out here, because a lot of sellers are jumping in straight away thinking that this is going to run. It could run, yes, but this is part of the deal, when you're trading the markets, and you have to kind of do this waiting game. So long story short, guys, if you're looking for some higher levels, then certainly wait for a clear break, and it needs to stay above this downside line. For the downside, it needs to break and stay below this upside line. AUD/NZD, so there we go, beautiful retracement here, well, actually trying to move back up here. So far so good. Look, I talked about this 1.0755 territory. I said that if you're looking for some further declines, a drop below this hurdle is needed. Well, we're getting a nice retracement right now, but my upside scenario probably will come on a break of this downside line, and then we could go from there. In NZD/CHF, still waiting for this one to make a stronger move. So far, so good. We broke this downside line, and we're flirting with this key resistance area. I think I will highlight this because it's quite important. So yeah, I'm waiting for a clear break above this key resistance area, and if we do get that, then my next target is the 200-day EMA. For the downside, I need to see this one dropping back below the 0.5834, and then we could take it from there, because at the same time we would fall below the 21-day EMA. USD JPY. I'm still waiting again. Also doing a lot of waiting today. I mean, basically there are some good areas. So yeah, if you're looking for some lower levels, then wait for a drop below the 137.67, and then we could take it from there. At the moment, I am just watching this. I'm not really doing much. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what's going to happen here. But hey, if we break this downside line, then yes, I will go more to the upside. USD CHF, look at this. We came back to this key support zone near the 0.94 territory. So what's next, guys? Well, basically a nice good drop below the 0.94 territory is required in order to go further south. This is my game plan. If we drop below this, then yeah, I'll go lower. Simple as that. For the upside right now, I would stick to something like this. I know it's a little bit far, but hey, I'd rather be safe than sorry. A push above the 0.96 area could do the trick for a few more buyers. GBP USD, so look at this. I talked about this as being a possible rising wedge. I talked this whole week about this, and so far, I think that so far it's working out nicely. Again, let's see how today's day is gonna play out, because again, we might maybe get a further pop to the upside here, but in that case, if we do pop higher, then we will break the upper side of the rising wedge, and this is going to be no longer a rising wedge. But if this continues to hold somehow, then well, maybe a bit of a retracement here back down could be possible, especially if we continue to struggle with this 200-day EMA. So keep that in mind. GBP CAD as well, interesting. Look at this. I mean, yes, we had a few false breakouts, but we are now drifting kind of back to the downside. Let's see if this is going to hold. If it does, it's a beautiful formation. GBP NZD as well. So, guys, GBP NZD is still, I've talked about this a while ago, and I said that, hey, keep your eyes on this 200 and 100-day EMAs, because somehow they are providing good resistance. And you can look at this. We're just kind of flat here, and we're just moving towards this downside line taken from the high of the 17th of October. Look, if we continue to get a hold up here, then yes, we could see lower levels. I'm still kind of considering this idea as my main one, and if you get a hold up here still, then I'm still leaning towards the 1.9131 level or the 1.9070 territory, somewhere around here. Or basically, if you want to round it up, or not round it up, but just approach it from the 1.91 level. That's going to be my next target. Euro JPY, look, the same story as well. Watching this downside line, waiting for it to kind of make a move of some sort here. Well, it's already actually making a move because it's moving away from this this downside line. So long story short, this is working out okay-ish, because look, I said that if we kind of if this downside line holds, then yep, we could see lower levels. And look, so far it's working out, but I'm not saying that I'm gonna be jumping in. Let's say if you missed this move, let's say to the downside, I would say now at this point wait a little bit, because again, this is a bit of a tricky one. Maybe it's gonna find some support somewhere here, or if you wish to use this area, you can, but again, like, be very careful. If it starts, let's say, popping higher and moving back above the 21-day EMA, this is where probably you should start exiting, because again, this could be a little bit tricky. So long story short, I'm leaning towards the downside, but I do accept the fact that maybe this is gonna this could, let's say, reverse back to the upside here easily. So although I find this very attractive, but I do at the same time, with this one specifically, I do believe that there is an element of a bit of a gamble here on this one. So yeah, I will wait for this one to be actually to do something better. Euro Mexican peso. Look, I talked about this, and so far, look at yesterday's activity. We pushed higher, we found resistance near this 20.22 territory. I need to see a pop above this, and if it pops, this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and this could open the door towards that 200-day EMA. And finally, Euro USD still remains above the 200-day EMA, and to be honest, the volatility is lower, so yeah, it's not the best times right now. Maybe next week we could get a little bit more activity here, but at this point I would say still I'm aiming for the upside. As long as we remain above the 200-day EMA, I'll continue aiming higher. Simple as that. For the downside, I need to see, maybe now actually I need to see a drop somewhere below this area, back below the 1.0368, in order to consider the downside. So guys, that was a quick overview, just because again we've went through these instruments already, and the majority of them are doing the same thing as they were doing yesterday. So again, we can see that there's there's low volatility. So yeah, I hope you found it useful. Still, don't get me wrong. I mean, there's not much actually to talk about today. But still, I hope you found it useful. Thank you very much for joining in and watching this one until the end. I really appreciate your views, your likes, your comments, guys. I really do. So if you want to catch me on Monday, let's get back to this on Monday. Let's see how these instruments are going to play out on Monday, or during today, and then we'll pick up on those on Monday. And yeah, have a wonderful Friday. Don't overtrade. That's the most important. And have a beautiful weekend, everyone. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.